In this video, we'll be going over the top 5 most overrated vehicles inside of Roblox Jailbreak as of February 2024. Before we get into this though, make sure to keep in mind this is just my opinion, and if you have your own opinion on what you think are the most overrated vehicles in the game right now, make sure to let me know down below in the comments. And yeah, with that, let's not waste any more time and let's get straight into this. Now, coming in first place here, I know a lot of you guys will hate me for this, and the weather here, it matches your mood perfectly probably, and it's the Volt bike here. The Volt bike used to be a pretty good vehicle, and I'd say that it used to be perfectly rated, but now it's just really overrated. Like, it can't go over hills, it's very unbalanced, and overall it's a pain to deal with. It's way too overpowered, and even Asimo agrees that it should be getting a revamp sometime soon, so it's probably not going to stay like this for much longer, but still, it's very annoying to deal with. It's way too overpowered, and it's just not that good as people say it is. Another thing with the Volt bike is it has a lot of big issues. Like, if you let go of the acceleration button, it takes a long time to come to a full stop, which might be very annoying depending on what you're trying to do. The turning is also very stiff as well, which might be very annoying depending on what you're doing as well. If you're trying to escape cops, you know, this turning isn't really as good as you'd like it to be compared to other vehicles. And yeah, honestly, the Volt bike is probably going to stay on this list pretty much forever until they either revamp the Volt bike or just completely remove it, because this thing is not as good as people say it is, and it's just not that good in the game, and it's really overrated. Now, in second place here, we have another classic, and it is the Lamborghini. And I'm not saying that the Lamborghini here is a bad vehicle like I was with the Volt bike, but it's just people are making out this vehicle to be a lot more than it actually is. Now, the Lamborghini here only costs a total of $100,000, and people are treating it like it's a lot more than that, which it clearly isn't. No vehicle that costs $100,000 is going to perform like a Chiron, which costs like 600k. It's not going to do that ever in this game's history. The Lamborghini here is only meant to be used as a vehicle until you get something a little bit better, like the Stallion or the Chiron at 600k, and people are making it seem like it isn't one of those vehicles, which isn't true at all. It will be one of those vehicles, and it will be forever. Obviously, if people treated this vehicle like it actually is meant to be treated, then it would be a little bit lower on this list, or maybe not even on this list at all, but for now, it's probably going to stay on here, just seeing as people keep treating it as a vehicle that's much more expensive than this actually is. Coming in third place here, it's another one that you guys will probably hate me for, but it's the Proto 8. This thing is really overrated. Now, just like the Lamborghini, I'm not saying that this is a bad vehicle. I'm just saying that it's really overrated, especially in jailbreak trading. This thing costs like $12.5 million in there, which is a lot. Not a lot of people can afford that, you know? And that's the problem I find with a lot of the vehicles on these lists. People just value them at a much higher price than they are actually worth. Like the Proto 8 here, it's not worth $12.5 million, man. That should be like a torpedo level price. And in fact, back when trading came out, I think that's exactly what a torpedo was priced, and now a Proto 8 is that exact same price. So it just doesn't make sense to me. This is worth way too much than it's actually worth, and y'all traders, man, you gotta calm down your values, man. This does not make sense to me. Like, as I said, I'm not calling these vehicles bad or anything, but you guys are making these vehicles seem like they're like the best vehicles in the game, which they are not. Those are spots reserved for like the Torpedo, the Brule, the Chiron, and vehicles like those, maybe even the Concept too. And so I don't know about you guys, but the Proto 8 here doesn't have much to, you know, be hyped up about. It's not one of the best vehicles in the game, but people are making it seem like it is, and that's why this vehicle is on this list. It's not necessarily bad, but it's just really overrated. So yeah, maybe if this vehicle was worth a little bit less, then it would not be on this list at all, but for now, unless you jailbreak traders figure out what vehicles should actually be worth, then it's probably going to stay on here for a little bit longer. And what I mean by a little bit longer is completely indefinitely, so yeah, fun. Now in fourth place here, we have the Roadster, and now the Roadster here is another one of those vehicles that are still pretty good, but I think are very overused and are given way too much attention for what they actually are. Like, don't get me wrong, the Roadster here is a really good vehicle, especially on the police team. I actually just recently made a video on the Roadster comparing it to the Chiron, and it's a really good car, but it's really overrated at the same time. This is because people think that because the Roadster here has the second best acceleration in the game, it's automatically one of the best vehicles in the game, which it is one of the best vehicles in the game, but it's not as good as people say it actually is. And just like the Proto, it's pretty much the exact same thing. It's a good vehicle, but it's given way too much more attention than it actually needs for what it has to offer. And that's exactly why you don't see vehicles like the Torpedo on these lists, because while they might be really highly priced, they are the best vehicles at the exact same time, so I can't really put them on these lists. Because obviously if a vehicle is going to be the best vehicle in the game, it's always going to be one of the most expensive vehicles in the game. So if I automatically called it overrated just because of that, that wouldn't really make much sense, would it? So yeah, that's why the Roadster's on this list. While it is a good vehicle, it doesn't really have the stats to make up for how much hype it's actually given. So yeah, that's what causes it to be on this list. Now coming here in 5th place, last place, my car disappeared. Okay, that's amazing. Hold on. Anyways, as I was saying before, my car just randomly disappeared. In 5th place here, we have the Celsior, and it's for pretty much the exact same reason as all of the other cars on this list. The Celsior here isn't a bad car at all. It's just really, really overrated and overpriced in my opinion. And another thing with it is it's literally a spawnable flying vehicle, which is automatically really overpowered, which is not really that good because, you know, this thing is really expensive as well, which makes it really hard to obtain for new players, which is making it even worse because you got to put yourself in a new player's shoes here. If you join the game for the first time, you know, you escaped prison, you got yourself a Camaro, and you start getting chased by this thing, and you realize it's $20 million, and you're probably not going to get it for a very long time. That's my cat. Okay, amazing. Anyways, basically what I'm trying to say here is if you're a new player and you see someone flying this thing around and then you realize they could just spawn it in wherever, you know, that's going to be pretty demotivating, and it's not really that good for the game, you know. And you know, while the stats on this vehicle aren't bad, they're not really that good either, you know. Obviously you got to consider it's a flying spawnable vehicle. The stats aren't going to be the best, but you know, it's still not the best, and it's not really what you'd use normally in just a normal gameplay situation. You know, it's not that good. It's pretty easy to shoot down, especially in the new updates where they just made the health on it really, really low. Like it only has like 60 to 50 health. I can't get up anymore for some reason. Okay, that's not good. But yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys could understand why I have the Celsior on my list. While it is a good vehicle, it isn't really that good for the amount of attention it's given. Like I said before, that's pretty much the same for all of the other vehicles on these lists. Yeah, other than that, that's pretty much all of the most overrated vehicles in Jailbreak as of February 2024 that I've decided to put onto this list. As I said at the start of the video, if you have your own list on what you think are the most overrated vehicles in the game right now, make sure to drop that down below in the comments. And yeah, with that, that's pretty much it for this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next one.